Welcome back to Fantasy 1.0. Today we're going to talk about pitchers you might want to consider trading if they're on your team.
And yield for the apocalypse, yeah. It's the apocalypse, yeah.
Okay, welcome back. Okay, I'm going to go through some names here. If they're on your team, I want you to consider trading them because they still probably have some market value. I think they're going to go kind of in the way of... So let's start with Masahiro Tanaka. I've been sort of doing a little bit of research on him and being like, why is he so terrible? Why was he terrible the first half of last season and then really good the second half of last season? Why is he crappy now? And so some people are saying, oh, it's the weather, it was cold out. And I think and this is just me pulling primary information and conversations from people that know what they're talking about. He can't control his cutter. When he can't control his cutter, he can't get ahead in the count. And then we see what is happening to him. So he's hurting your team. He's given up a run an inning, but he still has that name marquee value. He also pitches for the Yankees. You know, they have the bullpen, they have the offense. So if he gets it together, maybe I'll have to eat my boot, or eat my shoe or whatever it is. But I'm shopping him on my teams. I've got him on 2 or 3 teams, and I actually traded him for a player I'm going to mention later that I think you should pick up. This is one. David Price, another guy a lot of people are high on. Boston's amazing. What are they, 15-2 right now? He looks great. He looks like the old David Price. The problem is I don't think he's going to be able to keep it up all year. I think it's not ability, it's durability. I don't think that he's going to be able to sustain the workload that he's had this year. I don't think he's going to reach anywhere near 200 innings, 170 innings, even without a DL stint, which I think there's going to be some of in his near future. Getting into some more controversial ones. Lance McCullers. He had the one bad start out of 4, I think it is. He looked amazing the first 3, or the other 3 around that. Houston's a great team. Won the World Series last year. Their offense is starting to come around. I mean, I recall the last year or the year before, their conversations about him going into the bullpen, just for the fact, same thing, durability issues. I don't think he's going to last in the starting rotation, or the team's going to be obviously making another stretch run like they did last year, and they're going to start counting, preserving his innings, and they're going to watch. They're going to flip him to the bullpen or something like that for the last month of the season, and then there you go, because they want to save him for the playoffs, and that's where you need him most. And you can get a ton for him right now. Alex Wood, so he, I think, sort of fell off the table last year too. You can almost go Alex Wood / Rich Hill, but I don't think you get as much for Rich Hill because he's got the blisters right now. He's got an ERA over 6. But Alex Wood looks, he looks decent. But again, I don't think he's got one of those arms. I don't think he's going to last the whole year. So if you can get some value for him right now, maybe one of those young studs I mentioned in my last episode from another team, then go after it. All right, here's the one for everybody's going to freak out and lose their mind. Yes, he did have a bad start his last one out, but I still would have said this 2 weeks ago or a week ago before that bad start. But Shohei Ohtani, I think you should trade him if you've got him on your team. Unless you're in a dynasty league, I think you should trade him because you can probably get, with all the hype around him, let him come back from this apparent blister issue. I think he just got rocked by the Red Sox, but let him come back and have a couple good starts and then shop him around because you can probably get some marquee talent for that guy. You can probably get a 2nd-round draft pick, whereas you picked him up probably around pick 100, depending on the time of year your draft was. Shop him around, see what you can get. If you're lacking in hitting, if you have a problem with power, who knows? Maybe you can get Giancarlo Stanton, who is off to a really slow start. But just see what's out there. If you have him, sort of see what people would trade you for him. Have those conversations, see what you can get. I only have one guy I think you should go get, apart from those, the young stud guys I talked about earlier, but that's waivers really more or less. A guy that's on a lot of teams, it's on the back of their rotations, that I'm actively seeking in my leagues is Rick Porcello. He's throwing his cutter again. He wasn't throwing it last year. He was meh. I think he was 11-17 last year. But 2 years ago, he won 22 games, and guess what? He was throwing his cutter. He looks really good so far this year. And I don't think it's really resonating with people that he maybe is the Porcello of 2 years ago. People probably picked him up on a whim. Again, put some feelers out. If you don't have him on your team, start sort of making trade offers and probing and seeing what you can get for him. But honestly, I strongly recommend you put him on the back of your rotation. If you can get him, you can probably get him for cheap. Only if you can't get him for cheap, by the way. Okay, so that's some pitchers I think you should consider trading for. Do you know of any pitchers that you think people should be considering trading for? If you do, leave a comment below or reach out to me on Twitter. Definitely like this episode and definitely subscribe to this channel if you like winning your fantasy baseball leagues and soon your football leagues, because I'm going to start shows on that soon too. That's it.
Put your seatbelt on and yield. It's the apocalypse.